What is up? What is going on? Welcome back to the war room, to the coronavirus COVID-19 headquarters. I'm thinking about putting it up there, like COVID-19 headquarters or COVID-19 war room. I don't know. What do y'all think? Anyway, welcome back. Happy you're here. Happy you found us. If you're from a different class, if you're not in my class, if you're from a different district, welcome. We're so happy that you're here. I'm happy to have you here. I'm happy to be able to teach you while you are out of school and in need of some Texas history knowledge. Without further ado, let's jump into the computer. Today we're talking about a little wrap up, a little review. So we're gonna get into maybe some, not a lot of new information, just hit some highlights, some big points of the early statehood unit and kind of wrap it all up and make sure that you're ready for your end of unit quiz. It's not an exam, it's a quiz. We don't do that. As y'all know, if you've been watching these, you get to bring your dog to work. He's super excited to be with y'all. He's too little. I can't pick him up. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump into it. So the first thing we need to talk about, we need to wrap up, are some important events that shaped Texas while it was still a new state. Okay, so the first one, these are just kind of random facts that may come into play for you. They may not. Who knows? But knowledge is power, and so if you can know them, if you can pick them up, if you can remember them, it's going to only do great things for you. So in 1842, the Galveston Daily News was founded, bringing a daily newspaper to its citizens. If I'm not mistaken, one of the first in that area, and maybe even Texas. In 1845, Baylor University is founded. So right as Texas is becoming a state, Baylor is starting. So if you're a Baylor fan out there, hey, Sick 'em Bears, 1845, you're in. 1849, the Texas State Prison in Huntsville was opened. If you don't know anything about Huntsville, Texas, it is home to many state prisons in the state of Texas. They got a museum and everything. I would highly recommend you checking it out. A couple more important events. 1849, Buffalo Bayou, Brazos, and Colorado opened, becoming Texas's first railroad lines. Now, you may think, well, Buffalo Bayou, that's here in Houston. Brazos, that's a river. Colorado, that's a river. How do we open those? No, that's what they named the railroads after. Okay, that's what they named the railroads, and so those railroads are going to open, becoming Texas's first railroad, which is going to end up being huge, because that railroad was basically the main arteries for the United States and for Texas to move supplies, move people, and everything like that. Harrisburg Railroad is founded in 1852. Communication in 1854. Texas gets its first telegraph line. Now, if you watched the previous video that we did about immigration to Texas, we talked a little bit about the telegraph line, but if you didn't, we'll give a little recap here. Telegraph is basically a wired communication device. It's not a cell phone or anything like that, but you're going to hit this little button. Let's call it a button. You're going to hit this black thing right here, if you can see the mouse. You're going to hit that, and it's going to make a tone that goes into the wire. Now, that tone is going to be carried to whatever its destination is, and that tone is going to be interpreted or translated by somebody else. And so when it's translated or interpreted, that is going to basically send that person the message. So there's trained people that can operate these telegraph machines, and they can translate the messages for them, and they're going to be able to decode whatever is being sent. And so that's going to greatly improve the speed of communication here in Texas and across the United States. So let's get into this review. Just quickly, we're just going to go through some points. Kind of more times you hear the information, the better. I know for my classes and the other Texas history classes that here at Irons, there's not any formal review before your end of unit quiz. So the more times you can hear it, the better. So Texas joins the United States as the 28th state. Don't forget it. If you're a proud Texan, you'll know it for the rest of your life. 28 is great. That's how I remember it. Mexico still claimed part of Texas and fought the United States in the Mexican-American War. As we know, that did not go very well for Mexico. And the United States eventually won about 2 years into it, giving Texas the southern border of the Rio Grande, where it still sits today. So if you're a Texan, obviously you know that this border right here is the Rio Grande River, and that just is our southern border with Mexico. So, major battles of the Mexican-American War. We had the Palo Alto and Resaca de la Palma. If I butchered it, don't be mad at me. Some of y'all maybe speak better Spanish than I. Those were the first battles fought in the disputed territory. Obviously, we know Zachary Taylor moved across the Neches River to the Rio Grande. At that point, Mexico thought he was in their land, and the battle was on. We also had the Battle of Buena Vista, where Santa Anna, Zachary Taylor defeats Santa Anna. Santa Anna retreats into Mexico City, eventually surrendering, but is named president of Mexico after the battle. And then we have that capture of Mexico City, where Scott's troops take control of the Mexican capital, crippling the Mexican government and allowing Texas to win the war. So, significant individuals of the Mexican-American War. Number one, we have Zachary Taylor. We know him. He was kind of the front man for Polk. He's the guy that Polk put in charge. And so he's ordered to move troops from the Sabine to the Neches after Mexico refuses to negotiate with the United States, and basically the battle was on from there. We have Winfield Scott, who took control of Mexico City and gave the U.S. the victory. James K. Polk, the 11th President of the United States, campaigned to annexation and annex Texas and achieved manifest destiny with the war victory and the Mexican secession. We also have Santa Anna there, who we know was exiled to Cuba after the revolution, before the Mexican-American War. Mexico requests for him to return. Santa Anna comes back. Obviously, he was going to be eager to do so, and is eventually named president of Mexico again. And then we have Mr. Henderson. Mr. Henderson is going to be elected the first governor of Texas, and then he ended up leaving office to command the troops in the Mexican-American War. So big time compromise here. 1850, the United States paid Texas $10 million for all the land west of the Rio Grande River. Texas uses that money to pay off their debt and support their education, their public education programs. Settlers come to Texas from the United States and all over Europe. We have this kind of great immigration into Texas. Some of them bringing slaves with them, which is not great, but it is what it is. At this point, history is history. There's nothing we can do to change it. But they do bring slaves. Agriculture grows quickly. The population of Texas grows quickly. The economy of Texas grows quickly. Like I said, Texas economy and Texas agriculture are going to become hugely powerful, which is going to mean they're going to have a bright future with the United States. And the United States is going to have a bright future because of Texas. And that's why Texas is fantastic and great. That's it. Congratulations. Unit 2 in the books. You did it. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy that you're continuing your educational journey. Thank you so much for watching this. Hopefully you got something out of it. Now go study for that quiz. Take it. Get 100. Tell your mom, hey mom, I'm done. I got 100 on my quiz. No need to worry about my schoolwork. I'm going to be sitting right here on my cell phone playing Fortnite, doing whatever I want because my schoolwork is done and I'm on top of everything. Hey, love y'all. Hopefully you're staying safe, staying healthy. I'll see you in the next one. Maybe the next one will be back at school. Who knows?